This presentation is showing how popular culture and mass media has shaped the way women see themselves in today's society. Popular culture or pop culture is generally recognized as a set of practices, beliefs, and objects that are dominant in a society at a given point in time. Popular culture also encompasses the activities and feelings produced as a result of interaction with these dominant objects. Heavily influenced by mass media, this collection of ideas permeates the everyday lives of the society. Therefore, popular culture has a way of influencing an individual's attitudes towards certain topics. Pop culture isn't really the picture-perfect people or the picture-perfect world that it is perceived to be. That is just what they want you to see. Jim Taylor says, "I believe in truth in advertising, so we should stop calling popular culture because, well, it is no longer is a reflection of popular sentiment. I think a more accurate phrase is synth culture, because it is a synthetic product created by corporate conglomerates rather than being an expression of the shared experiences of real people." First, I will be talking about self-image in magazines. Women are not only perceived in magazines poorly, but they also look at the women in the magazines and want to be them. Women look at girls in the magazines and try so hard to be like them and try so hard to fit in to the perfect image of a woman in our pop culture. For instance, in media such as magazines, where a person relies on an image to relate a feeling, girls are often made to look inferior. Jean Kilbourne notes that the body language of girls is usually passive, vulnerable, and very different from the body languages of boys and men. This perpetuates the idea of weakness in women, whereas men are given dignity and strength. Even more significant is that while media are larger for women, they attempt to make women's value and worth smaller. Gill states that there are clear differences in the kinds of touch that women and men in advertising employ. She goes on to say that men's touch is used for purpose, such as reaching out to grab products or building and creating. Women's touch, however, is light and caressing and often seemed to have no purpose at all. Next is movies. When people refer to a woman being beautiful in a movie, you don't usually see an overweight woman with flaws. You see someone like Sandy in Grease, showing simply perfect beauty in a young, petite, flawless woman. I Feel Pretty is a brand new movie that came out in 2018, and it is a movie about a woman struggling with insecurities and trying to fit in to society version of beautiful. When she falls and hits her head, she wakes up believing she is the most beautiful and capable woman on the planet. Her new confidence empowers her to do things and act in a way she wouldn't have before. But she eventually hits her head again and realizes her appearance never changed, but her mindset did. This movie is a beautiful movie about a woman loving herself for who she is, and this movie does an absolutely great job at portraying women the way they should be seen. Reality TV is a huge outlet for pop culture and for many people to see. 4 out of 10 people watch reality TV, and 6 out of 10 people believe it is real. Beauty in reality is subjective, but the mass media constructs and upholds a narrow standard for what it means to be beautiful. Therefore, mass media is no longer solely attacking the product choices that consumers make, but also the consumers themselves. The Bachelor is the perfect example of pop culture. All the women in The Bachelor seem to be slim, and perfect. You would never see a woman overweight on one of these shows because that is just not what society wants to see, and that's not what will sell. Advertising is a huge way to get information or new products out into the world, and shows popular culture in a very crucial way. In most advertisements you see on billboards, commercials, and every other social outlet, you see a skinny girl holding, using, or eating the product that is trying to be sold. But you never see a partially overweight young woman on advertisements trying to sell a product, because that is just not what the world wants to see, and that is not what is going to sell in the big corporations' eyes. Mass media is a potent tool used to influence its audience in many ways. Although most people would like to believe that they are not affected by advertising, this is because advertising's influence is quick, it's cumulative, and for the most part, it's subconscious. The standard that advertising creates affects women deeply, and it is absolutely inescapable. According to Rosalind Gill, we live in an era of 360-degree branding. Advertisements are found on televisions, buses, on the side of buildings, and in magazines people read. This is an example of women in pop culture used as an advertising method to show beautiful women selling bras and underwear. Now, this picture is similar in what they are trying to sell, but what is not similar is the fact that these women are not photoshopped and perfect. These women are the real women in the real world. This billboard is advertising to go vegetarian, but at the same time, it is advertising that overweight women are just seen as whales in society. Fashion is another outlet to make women feel lesser of themselves. Whenever you see a model, you see thin, tan, and flawless. But we have Photoshop to thank for that. Even the most beautiful celebrities get Photoshopped every day to look even more perfect in the world's eyes. Women who don't have an enormous amount of money to buy high-end fashion and cannot afford a makeup stylist or a fashion coordinator would never survive in the world's eye because they aren't perfect enough for our society. Most of the fashionable clothing seen out there in the public eye is only available in sizes extra small to large. When you are a regular woman shopping in a store with all the mannequins being super tiny and you don't have that perfect waist size or that perfect stomach, then you will figure out quickly that most in-style clothing isn't for the imperfect people in the world. This moves me on to Photoshop. Photoshop plays an incredible role in today's popular culture. When looking at most advertisements, you think they would Photoshop celebrities because they are already famous and perfect in society's eyes, but the perfections you are seeing are all fake and masked with Photoshop. Every day, Photoshop is used by celebrities and regular women. Pictures on the front of the magazines or posts on Instagram are all used Photoshop or some kind of filter to modify one's true self. Even the most beautiful women in the world aren't perfect enough to not be Photoshopped. Next is social media. The images of perfection we see in print, film, and television project an unrealistic version of reality that we are continually told is attainable if we work out, eat less, and lather our bodies in transformative, firming, and tightening creams. The media is a powerful tool that reinforces cultural beliefs and values, and while it may not be fully responsible for determining the standards for physical attractiveness, it makes escaping the barrage of images and attitudes almost impossible. On a serious note, social media has been a huge way for society to keep in touch with everything and everyone. Nearly 1 in 3 girls are bullied or cyberbullied for the way they look, which leads to the second highest cause of death, suicide. Young women all around the world are judged every day for the way they look. Social media plays a huge role in that. In conclusion, popular culture and social media has played a huge role in the way women see themselves. Many women don't see themselves as beautiful because society has made being beautiful very hard, since in today's world, beautiful consists of being perfect. The biggest thing I hope every woman takes from seeing this presentation is the fact that every woman is perfect in their own way, no matter how they look. Every woman is spectacularly beautiful. Thank you.